Welcome to another episode of Just Me. This is a ride I did on October 11th, 2025. Starting off in Hartley Park, just parallel to Old Hartley Road, about to cross Arrowhead, and start off in this very fun little section here where we go down in a bare rock. It was a very busy day. Took me a second to get going here because of all the people on the trail on this particular day, running into some folks right away.
Just me. Thank you.
Coming down this big hill. Probably one of the more awkward starts I have in one of these videos here. Running into all those people right away, but it's a pretty steep downhill that you're going down here. For me, being I guess, not an extremely seasoned mountain biker, took it easy on those folks going down that rock pretty slow, but speeding up pretty fast around these corners here. This corner coming up right here, you really want to be making sure you're not going to run into anybody, because this section of the Duluth Traverse trail is also part of the Superior Hiking Trail. One of the few sections that kind of just connects up with both of them, so I'm surprised by how few hikers I come across on this trail. This beautiful day in October, ran across quite a few bikers.
No,
Those
you.
folks I didn't think I was going to
No, you
catch
go
up
ahead.
with.
Are you with this group?
This person
go
really
ahead.
thought that I was going to be faster than them, I guess, but I didn't want to get mixed up with their group. Maybe she wasn't part of that group. Maybe she saw me with my camera and didn't want me following her. Also got a different vantage point today. My bike mount was not working. Luckily, I happened to run across that Arrowhead crossing at the right time when all those other bikers are going. Normally, we'd be stuck there, especially on a work day. This is kind of a path I travel if I got the time to before work. Going across Arrowhead on a busy day can run across quite a bit of traffic. So we're in Bagley Park now. This is adjacent to the UMD. We'll be traveling, I think, almost exclusively on COGS trails today.
Just me.
Just me as well.
The full extent of my ride today looked like it was over 2 hours and 15 miles that I covered. Eventually ending at Quarry Park. This particular section of Bagley Park runs into Superior Hiking Trail a few times. You saw, whenever you see blue blazes on the trees, that means you're actually on the Superior Hiking Trail. So we started off this trail as part of this SHT, the Superior Hiking Trail. You saw those hikers go across. Still run into a few folks here and there. This particular day in Duluth was a 52-degree day. 52 for a high. Unseasonably warm. Dry for a long period of time. If you take that trail up to the right, you'll head up to the Bagley Outlook. If you go left, you head down to Bagley Pond. And we got kind of a bit of a slog up this hill. And then you get a little bit of a downhill coming up here soon. Try and use that momentum. head up to the campus of UMD, take that left there. Super fun little downhill section that heads into the parking lot. I take the right on that fork, which is pretty steep going up this section here. Also gonna run into some pretty rocky sections as well. But this kind of just snakes around behind the dorms at UMD. Give you a little look at my full trip here. Again, I think we're just got enough GoPro footage to get us to Central High School, but I ended up going to Casket Quarry today. Meet my family up. Meet up with my family. Crossing one of those hiking trails that would head up to the Bagley Lookout. See on the left hand quite a few parking lots. Those are UMD parking lots. Crossing this little tarred section before we head back into the woods. Luckily, this section of Bagley's pretty straightforward. Not too many spur trails to take in this section. Definitely recommend being in a very low gear for this section. A lot of twists uphill. Really got to make sure you're ready to take on those short spurts uphill before you come out onto the road here. This being Brainerd Avenue. Just a short little jaunt on here before we cross College Street. We head down this hill, got to be a little careful. Because you run up, down the hill, at a stop sign. there's these little bike trails that you can take. Of course, you'll be on the wrong side of the road if you do take them. Go ahead and just pop over to the sidewalk. The sidewalk will lead you to the trail that will head you to the section of the DT that goes through Chester Rim, Chester Bowl. So just a small section here on the sidewalk, and then on this little gravel trail. Which gives you a nice little view of Lake Superior once you reach the end of that. And somebody's backyard there. Other side, and on the right side you got Woodland Community Center. Got some hiking trails that you got to kind of watch the signage for. Make sure you're on the biking trail. A few different spots here.
Hello.
You can cross that hiking trail.
Thank you. Hi. Just me.
Thank you. So yeah, a lot of people out on the trails today. Crossing one of those hiking trails here. Gotta watch out for that COGS sign. Making sure you're on the bike trail here. Not that you won't run into some hikers, but always, at least they have a reasonable expectation of running into some bikers. The Chester section of the DT is super fun. It does have quite steep side, if you were to fall off on the left-hand side here, you've got a pretty steep ways to fall, so do make sure if you're running into somebody else, you're giving them plenty of space. A lot of ups and downs flowing both ways on this section. taking the turn, traveling parallel to Kenwood Avenue on our right-hand side. We got Chester Bowl to our left. Come up this little area the city uses as a little place to store some dirt on your right. I've accidentally taken this trail to our left here when I meant to take the trail I'm on, which is a hiking trail. Pretty stiff downhill into the Chester Bowl. It's not supposed to be used for biking though, so you gotta watch for the right trail to take here. Those other trails are hiking and cross-country cross-country trails in the wintertime. Pop out into this little private section, still part of the DT though. Get a nice little sign here. It says respect private property. Very rocky in this section here. Make sure you got proper tire inflation for this section. I always kind of think, I hope I don't pop on one of these sharp rocks. And then you see Kenwood to your right. Gonna do a little stop. Downhill, do a stop sign, seems to happen every time. Watch the cars though. Do a little adjustment right up here after I cross. You gotta make sure you are properly situated for this next section. It's a pretty steep uphill. You could just take the road to your left, you see, go straight up to the Westchester section. But this section is quite a few switchbacks going uphill, which I find to be a little more enjoyable than just slogging up a hill, doing the switchbacks, getting a little nature therapy while I do it. But there's going to be some huffing and there's going to be some puffing. Coming up here, there's a little plateaued out section here. If you're looking for a break, I suggest taking one right in here. Just kind of curious, thought maybe I would have taken a break there, but also encourage you to bring a couple of trash bags if you're in that area. Someone I think was camping out there over the summer, left quite a bit of trash. Definitely been there a few times since then. I think that garbage is there until someone cleans it up. Definitely cleared some bags out of there since making this video. Please keep the trails clean, folks. Quite a few switchbacks coming up here. Of course, every turn straight up a hill. Make sure you're in a low gear. Oh, looks like I didn't quite make that section. Time to readjust. See him sucking on my camelback here. Make this a little more bearable. Sucking down some water. And I need to descend a little bit here onto that road. You can see it to the left. if you do clear any trash out of Nunn's Quarry, you'll see some dumpsters to your left to drop those off at coming up once you get to the road. Also some dumpsters at the apartment building to your right as well. Tiny little part on a paved road. Quite the slog here. This is like a very steep hill. I swear you're going just straight up. And then we come into the next section, which they call Westchester. I don't know if it's because it's west of Chester or it's all one word, so why do they call it Westchester? I couldn't tell you, but super fun section here. This section goes all the way to Rice Lake Road. There's a few intersections where you gotta pay attention. They're not very well marked signs, so you just gotta kind of sense which is the more well-traveled road. Quite a few switchbacks in this section too. Not for a little bit though. Right here is one of those intersections you gotta watch out for. Take the bridge is what to look out for. Some of those other trails, you can see that one has some downed trees telling you not to go that way. I don't know if they go into people's backyards or people just make their own trails from their own yards. One of these days maybe I'll check it out. Alright, starting our way up to these uphill switchbacks. Not quite nearly as dramatic as those ones coming off of Kenwood near Nunn's Quarry, but nevertheless, make sure you got your gumption meter high here. Switchback, you gotta want to take the wide route here unless you love doing funny things on rocks. One of those switchbacks where you just kind of keep thinking, oh man, another switchback, another switchback. Here comes another switchback. Another little turn. I wouldn't quite qualify this as a switchback because you're kind of going further away from those twists and turns. Still going uphill though. Almost getting to the path though. We'll be heading downhill soon. Got quite a few rocks up here in this section. A couple green-black options, green-black trail options, green being the, the trail that most reasonable mountain bikers will take, the black being for the extreme folks. You gotta kind of make some split-second decisions too when you're coming upon these signs. Just up here, coming from this direction though, it's a little more obvious. Going from the other direction, if you go the wrong way, you're going straight down pretty steep rock usually. Get some of that payoff now. Decision points. Taking the less dramatic option. Here to this rock is you really want to kind of settle up on that left hand side. Yeah, got someone coming. And now we go downhill.
Hello. Just me, thank you. We're crossing Houts Street here. It's just a tiny little road. Didn't even really realize that was a road. I always assumed it was somebody's driveway, but looking at a map today, realizing that crossing just a road that leads to the neighborhood. If we were to take that to the left, we'd go to some neighborhoods that are very hilly. But we're just coming up on the last little section of the Westchester part of the Cogs Trail. Nice little boardwalk they built here. Thanks to Cogs for that. I always get a little tempted to just dip my feet in some of the creeks here, but I don't think I ever have. Coming up on Rice Lake Road in front of us, you see the cars' activities there. Bit of a slog going up this hill. And definitely gotta stop here, look both ways before crossing, because this is a pretty busy road. Got a crosswalk here, but no one really pays attention to it. Got a little bike lane going alongside here onto Pecan Avenue. One could potentially just skip this part of the trail that I'm about to head on and end up on Central Entrance. If you were to continue down this road, I'm going to go ahead and take the trail here today, because that's what I'm here to do, ride my mountain bike. Oh, a little bus stop here too. Make sure the camera's running every once in a while. And right here, if you were to look to your left, you got Marshall School. Sometimes in the year where they're doing their nature programming, you might run into some children back here, so use caution, of course. Pretty flowy trail here, both going up and down. You'll pop out at Central Entrance here in just a little bit. A little fun downhill section here as we go left to right. And here we are, just approaching the corner of Pecan Avenue and Central Entrance. It's a good time to take a break. It's kind of a forced break. I've never spent less than 2 minutes at this stoplight waiting to pass. Go ahead and hit that button. It doesn't do much, it seems. And we finally get going again. Had to edit out some of that waiting around at that intersection. And you got a pretty steep uphill as you come into this section. This is a fairly new section. Used to have to go into the neighborhood in this section, and they opened it up a couple summers ago. Real nice little lattice. Climb up here and
make sure you got plenty of energy stored up. In this section, it's not too much uphill, but it's pretty dramatic just to start with in this section. Got central entrance to your left, Lake Superior straight in front of us to the south, and the old Central High School to our right.
Hey.
We're coming up to the apex of this climb here. You can see Central High School up to your right, or whatever it is that they're turning it into now, or if that project's been abandoned. Who knows? Get to enjoy a nice little view up here, so I encourage you to take a sip of your water at the apex of this uphill climb. Got a little turn here coming up to your left.
Hello.
Coming out of the woods.
Guys, with me.
There's that view we've been waiting for. Looking out towards Park Point. See the aerial lift bridge over there. Trying to get you a look at that. I think I was too much of a rush today to... Oh, maybe I did take a little break here. And so now we head down the downhill section of the Central High School section of the DT. Is that one of the relatively newest sections? Used to go into some residential neighborhoods. Gather some good steam going down this hill. Often lots of fun little insects and animals you can run into in this section as well. Downhill always goes so much faster than the uphill. It's almost like, boom, we're already at the end of this little downhill section. We're crossing 8th Avenue West. Looks like we're headed up to Antenna Farm. This is a very technical section. Also run into some baby skunks underneath this little boardwalk here. So use caution. Make sure you don't upset those smelly little beasts. Nice little wonderful boardwalk. Thanks to Cogs for putting in the work for these amazing trails for us. Get ready for some rocky sections coming up. Here comes your first set of little rocks here. Nice little downhill section. You want to use a little caution coming up to some of these sections here. This particular section here, I've had a friend take that left trail, not on purpose, and it's a pretty steep downhill. A lot of kind of two-way options here. Surprised that this is part of the DT. It's a pretty difficult section. It's a green trail, but I occasionally skip this section of the DT when I got places to go, people to see. Some more rocky sections here. Biker like me takes his time. Earlier this summer, I actually wiped out a section coming up here. It was a much cloudier day than it is today. It wasn't soggy enough to close the trails on that particular day, but this section right here, you got those jagged rocks to your right.
Oh, God.
On that particular day, there was a big puddle to the left of those jagged rocks, and I was trying to avoid that puddle and went on those jagged rocks and fell off my bike. This is before I had a full suspension. I had a hardtail that I fell off of. My bike just clear went out from underneath me, and I fell straight on my butt. Had the blackest, purplest butt full on my butt cheek. This section here I just cannot do myself. Gosh, it looks like I am going for it. Gotta give full credit to that full suspension, because on most days I would not be trying this. Straight up looks like another planet.
I must have dismounted and walked that section. Gotta make sure that camera's running every once in a while. Here we are, back at it.
Hello. Just me. Thank you. Hi. Just me.
And so this section, you're definitely going to want to take a left to stick with the DT. I happen to get a phone call right at the same moment. That would probably be taking my phone out and making sure I'm going the right way. Always seem to forget which way is the right path here. Don't come this way all that often. That right trail will take you, some kind of connector trail to. And had a little glitch here, just had to make sure I was still recording, I think. We're back at it. Hitting up the rest of this little antenna farm trail. Heading back down onto the avenue. 8th Street actually here, so which you'll be popping yourself right onto. And you'll be headed towards 8th Street West at this little intersection coming up right here. No stop sign here, but I would encourage giving yourself a good look, especially the folks coming up both ways. That's a pretty ratty looking road. And heading on now to Observation Hill. There's a very steep start to this one, and encourage you to get as much momentum. It's also pretty rocky little sections here too. Namely right here.
Hello. Just me.
Over here, you can tell that this guy here being pretty cautious himself, and he's coming down the hill. So, yeah, pretty skinny little trail here on Observation Hill. But we got ourselves some nice lookouts coming up too, so worth the excitement and the adventure. Despite the difficult terrain here, still trying to people a little look at the bridge, aerial lift bridge from this section. Very nice. I guess that's why they call it Observation Hill. Not too much time to sit and gawk at the scenery though, I think today. I don't know these trails all that well, so if you know of some interesting areas around here to explore, leave a comment. But we're popping out here once again at 8th Street and approaching 11th Avenue West. This intersection is very busy today, and you definitely need to use great caution because these folks are in a hurry, and the hill's pretty kind of hard to tell from the angle. The hill doesn't give great visibility, so we got a fast spin on it here. Finally getting our chance now. Finally go across, and we'll head up to the Enger Park section of the DT. And now this section, very similar to leading into Observation Hill, but also got this pretty dramatic switchback that we get hit up. Definitely have some deep breathing going on here, but finally coming to that sharp turn going uphill. Hopefully you got your momentum. Looks like I dismount here today. Hopping back on. Not a very easy turn there, so prepare yourself for that. Coming up right to the top of this incline before we head down to the other side, the non-lake side. But we're going to lose some juice here on the GoPro for today, and just be wrapping up today's episode. Fortunately, I can't take you all the way to the Casket Quarry, but hopefully I'll catch you on another ride around Duluth. Thanks for joining just me. Have a great day.